In the scatter graph diagram, what we'll be doing is we'll be giving importance to all the variables, unlike the high-low method. The high-low method, we only look into two activity levels, whereas under the scatter graph, we'll be giving importance to all. Now let's just recap. I was discussing y is equal to a plus bx, where y is my dependent variable, x is the independent variable, b and a. B is the gradient and a is the intercept. Now, do we follow this method in real life? The answer is no. Why? We'll look into it. Now, what the method says is, when I have a different activity levels and the respective cost, I need to draw them in the graph. Now, this is my x, this is my y. I told you x is my independent variable, whereas y is my dependent variable. Now, in my given graph, what I'll be doing is, I'll be taking all my costs and plot it on my graph. These are my activity levels. These are my costs. Now let's say for different activity levels, my variable costs or the semi-variable costs are plotted. Now what does the scatter graph diagram say? The scatter graph diagram says, look into the graph, draw a representative line which will cover all my costs. Now if I look into this particular graph, I need to make sure I draw one representative line which is going to consider all my points into action. Now let me see this. What if I can draw a line which is going to be a representative of both, or we say all the points. This straight line is getting represented by y is equal to a plus bx. Now once I draw a line, how do I find out my fixed cost and variable cost in this? Now what I'll be doing is, I will drop down the lines touching both my x-axis and my y-axis. So how do I do it? I extended my line to touch my y-axis, and at any particular point I will drop the line to touch my x-axis. Now what does this do? I will get back to my concept which I taught you in the second chapter, that the costs which is going to be incurred irrespective of my production levels are known as my fixed cost. Now this is my total cost, out of which if this is the line, a cost which will be incurred irrespective of my production level becomes my fixed cost, this automatically represents my variable cost. So I know my variable cost, I know my fixed cost, I know my activity level. Now I'll try finding out what's my fixed and variable cost. For that, let's look into the next example.